The phrase capsule wardrobe has gotten a bit of a reputation, okay? Most people hear it and immediately picture the same thing. A tiny rack of basics, white tee, maybe a trench coat, and of course the pair of white sneakers that go with everything. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that if that's your vibe, but if that's not your style, if you love color, if you live for vintage textures, if you're more boho or edgy, feminine, maybe romantic, then that capsule wardrobe you tried to follow probably ended up feeling super boring or just not you. The idea that a capsule wardrobe has to be super minimal or super neutral or super basic is just outdated. Your wardrobe should make life easier and it should help you express your personality, and the two are not mutually exclusive. So in this video, we're flipping the script, okay? I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build a capsule wardrobe that works for your lifestyle and reflects your personal style, whatever it is. Whether you lean classic and chic or earthy and relaxed, bold and edgy, or anything in between, you deserve a wardrobe that feels good, that looks good, and that works for you. I'm going to be breaking down what exactly makes a capsule wardrobe functional, how to tweak it for your different aesthetics, and how to avoid ending up with 12 pieces that you'll never wear. Because the goal here is not to limit your style, it's to build a wardrobe that gives you options without the overwhelm. So let's just get into it. Most of the capsule wardrobe advice out there, while it's well-intentioned, is kind of copy and paste. You'll see the same 10 pieces recommended over and over again: a white button-up, black trousers, a trench coat, some kind of neutral knit, or maybe a pair of jeans with no rips, no distressing, no fun, okay? And again, that's fine if that matches your style, but for so many of us, it just doesn't. I can't tell you how many people try to follow these lists and buy all the right pieces and then feel totally uninspired when they open up their closet. Like maybe you bought the white button-up because it's on every capsule checklist, but now it's hanging in the back of your closet untouched because every time you put it on, you're just like, ugh, this isn't me. You probably don't feel confident and you don't feel excited, and worst of all, you may feel like you failed, but you didn't fail. That capsule just wasn't made for you. It was made for a hypothetical woman with a minimalist aesthetic, maybe a corporate job, maybe an Instagram feed full of espresso tones and linen pants. That's why I always say capsule wardrobes are not one size fits all, and they should never be, because your wardrobe isn't about just looking put together. It's about feeling aligned. It should reflect your lifestyle, your personality, your preferences, not just somebody else's Pinterest board. And honestly, that's where a lot of frustration with capsule wardrobes come from. People feel restricted by them. They feel like they have to water down their style to fit into some clean girl aesthetic box just to be considered intentional or, you know, curated. But being intentional doesn't mean boring, okay? You don't have to strip away everything fun or expressive just to have a streamlined wardrobe. The key is learning how to build a capsule that feels good to you, one that still makes getting dressed easier but doesn't make you feel like you're dressing up as someone else. Before you start buying anything or planning any outfits, you need a clear sense of what your actual style is, because if you skip this part, you'll end up building a capsule that might technically be versatile but still doesn't actually feel like you. This step isn't about boxing yourself into one aesthetic. It's about getting really honest about what you naturally gravitate towards, what you love wearing, what makes you feel confident, not just what looks practical on paper. So a good place to start is to look at your closet right now. What are 3 to 5 pieces that you wear on repeat? What outfits make you feel like the best version of yourself? And even better, look at your Pinterest boards or your saved folders. I guarantee a theme will pop out. Maybe it's flowy layers or lots of earthy tones or gold jewelry, okay? Then you're probably more boho. Or maybe it's tailored trousers, structured bags, clean lines. Then maybe you're more classic or minimalist. Or if you see a bunch of combat boots, graphic tees, silver hardware, then maybe you lean more edgy. You should also be able to define your style with just a few words. So try this. Think of 3 adjectives that capture the vibe you want your wardrobe to give off. For example, it could be effortless, earthy, feminine, or bold, tailored, elevated, or maybe it's relaxed, cozy, neutral. And those 3 words are going to help you guide every decision you make moving forward, from the silhouettes you pick to the colors, the fabrics, and accessories that you include in your capsule. And also remember that your aesthetics don't have to be trendy, okay? They don't have to have a name. You don't need to fit into the clean girl or coastal cowgirl or whatever is popular on TikTok this week. Your style can just be yours. The more clear you are on your own vibe, the easier it is to filter out all the noise and actually build a wardrobe that feels cohesive, that feels functional, and that's fun to wear. Okay, so once you got your clear sense of what your aesthetic is, the next step is to choose your foundation pieces. These are the building blocks of your capsule, the core items that you can mix and match across different outfits. But the key is to still make sure that they reflect your style. This is where a lot of capsule wardrobe advice starts to lose people, because you'll hear you need a white button up, you need a black blazer, you need dark wash jeans. And sure, those pieces can work if they match your vibe, but if you don't like structured button ups or you never wear a blazer, then forcing those into your capsule is just going to make getting dressed harder, not easier. So instead of following a generic list, think about what the functional version of those pieces look like for you. So let's just say a traditional capsule recommends a black blazer. If you're more boho or relaxed, then maybe you want to swap that out for an oversized linen vest or a light jacket. If you're more edgy, then maybe it's a leather modal jacket. If your style is more soft and feminine, then maybe it's a cropped cardigan or like a tailored wrap blazer might feel more aligned. The same idea with basics like a white tee, okay? If you're minimalist, cool, go with the classic crew neck. But if you're more romantic, then try a puff sleeve or a square neckline. If you love texture, then maybe it's a rib knit or something sheer or layered. You're still choosing practical pieces, but you're doing it in a way that supports your aesthetic instead of watering it down. Also, make sure you're thinking about the silhouettes and the fabrics that feel like you. Do you prefer flowy or fitted? Do you reach for denim or linen? Do you love texture or do you like things smooth and clean? All of that matters more than whether your pieces check a wardrobe essentials box. Your foundation pieces are the same items you'll wear on repeat. They'll anchor your outfits and set the tone for your style. And they need to be versatile, yes, but also something that you love wearing. That's the sweet spot. Once you've got your foundation pieces picked out, the next step is figuring out your color palette, and that's where things get really fun. Now, most capsule wardrobe advice will tell you to stick to neutrals, and yes, neutrals are great. They're easy to mix and match. They look put together and they never really go out of style, but that doesn't mean that your entire wardrobe has to be beige or black and white, especially if that doesn't light you up. You can still build a super functional capsule wardrobe with color. The trick is just being intentional about which colors you're choosing, and your color palette doesn't necessarily have to match your aesthetic label. So you could love the structure and timelessness of a minimalist or classic style, the clean silhouettes, the quality fabric, the tailored pieces, but you might prefer wearing color instead of sticking to the black and white wardrobe. Maybe you like soft pastels, make you feel a little bit more alive than neutrals. And that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong and that you don't know your style just because you're not fitting into an aesthetic perfectly. That means that you're doing it the right way. The key is just choosing colors that work well together and that feel cohesive across your wardrobe. An easy formula I really like is having at least 2 to 3 base colors that you can easily mix and match. These could be your neutrals or more grounded tones, and then having at least 1 or 2 accent colors that pop a little more and reflect your personality. So for example, if you're into warm earthy tones, then maybe your color palette is cream, olive, and tan as your base with rust and mustard as your accents. Or if your vibe is more soft and feminine, then maybe you do ivory, dusty blue, and gray with blush pink and lilac as your accents. And if you're more bold or edgy, then you could do black, charcoal, and like a deep red, and then throw in like cobalt or silver as your pop. There's so much room to play here as long as you're thinking about cohesion. You want your pieces to work together so that way you're not stuck with a bunch of cute items but they don't pair with nothing else in your closet. And if you're not sure which colors actually flatter you or make you feel your best, then I do have a whole video that breaks you down. It walks you through how to figure out the best colors for your skin tone. I'll make sure to link it in the description box below. So once you've got your core pieces and your color palette down, the next step is finding the right balance between basics and your statement pieces, because let's be honest, a wardrobe that's full of basics can definitely start to feel kind of boring. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions about a capsule wardrobe. People think you can only include super plain, super toned down items, but that's what makes capsules feel uninspired and hard to stick with. You need that mix. You need the fun pieces. They're the ones that's gonna make you feel like you. Now your basics are what gives your wardrobe structure. They're the glue. They are your go-to jeans, your layering tops, your neutral outerwear. They're meant to play nice with everything. But your statement pieces, that's where your personality shows up. These are the pieces that add interest, that add the texture, that add the color, or just add the vibe. They're the reason your outfit doesn't feel like a uniform. And you don't need a ton of them, just enough to sprinkle into your everyday looks. A good rule of thumb is about 70% basics, 30% statements. That way your wardrobe still feels functional and versatile, but you have enough pieces that makes your outfits actually feel exciting. Now, what counts as a statement piece is totally personal. For someone edgy, it could be a studded belt, it could be a graphic jacket or some combat boots. For someone boho, maybe it's a floaty printed kimono or a textured woven bag. If you have a more soft feminine style, then maybe it's a floral midi dress or a beaded collar cardigan. And for you, maybe it's a colorful pair of sneakers or a bold printed scarf. You know, whatever makes your outfit feel finished and feel like you. And your statement pieces don't necessarily have to be super loud. They just need to bring that little extra something, okay? And when you layer them in with your basics, you create outfits that are more effortless and that are expressive. So when you are building your capsule, don't shy away from the fun. Just be intentional about it. Ask yourself, can I wear this piece multiple ways? Does it work with the foundation I already have? Will this help me feel more confident or put together? And if the answer is yes, then it deserves a spot in your capsule, okay? Even if it's bold or if it's unexpected. Because a good capsule wardrobe is not about blending in, okay? It's about building a wardrobe that works while still feeling like you. And just to kind of give you a quick example of how this all comes together in real life, I'll share a little bit about how I built my own personal capsule wardrobe. So my style leans more casual, more minimal, more chic, and a lot of my foundational pieces fall into that clean minimalist aesthetic. I love a good basic tee or a tank, crisp button-ups, trench coats, you know, all those timeless staples. But I also have an edgy side. I love leather, okay? I love leather jackets, leather pants, leather skirts. I love graphic tees. All those find a spot in my wardrobe as well. To make everything feel cohesive, I'm really intentional about my silhouettes and my colors, okay? I don't just buy plain basics. I look for pieces with interesting details that will elevate the look. So I love asymmetrical tops or basics that have unique ruching or unique stitching. I also don't like the typical long trench coat. I prefer more crop trench coats. I also prefer oversized blazers versus a traditional blazers. And then I love big oversized denim jackets. Those are the shapes that kind of just work for me. And when it comes to color, I definitely switch things up with the seasons. In the fall and in the winter, I kind of wear a more neutral, earthy tone. So like camel, olive, cream, burgundy. And in the summer, I like to add a little bit more colors just to keep things light and fresh. And for my personality pieces, I usually keep it subtle. I kind of just like to add a pop through accessories. So my handbags, my shoes. But I do have this one pair of jeans that I love. It has white flowers embroidered on them. They're still super versatile because they're in kind of like a neutral wash and the flowers are white, but they add a little bit of extra detail and they make like outfits pop. Like I love wearing them with just like a basic tee or a simple cropped button up. Like I can style them so many different ways and I feel like they just add that little extra pop to the outfit because they're just so freaking cute. And one thing to note is that my style changes as well. Like some people feel like they have to pick a style and stick to it forever. Like, no, you definitely do not have to. You can have like kind of an evolving style and maybe it changes every couple of years. You might realize, you know what, I'm not really feeling that no more. That's why you need to do your closet clean out to kind of get rid of what doesn't serve you anymore so you can bring in, you know, what your new style may be and kind of bring in those new pieces. So don't feel like, you know, once you pick your style, once you build your capsule, you have to just stick there forever. Like, no, that might be your style for 1 or 2 years. Something might change. Maybe you got a new job, maybe you moved to a different state, and so your style, your vibe changes completely, and that's totally okay. So again, the goal here isn't perfection, okay? It's not following somebody else's capsule formula. It's building a wardrobe that works for you and actually makes you feel excited about getting dressed. All right, so to recap what I just talked about, you don't need to fit into someone's idea of a capsule wardrobe. You can build one that's actually aligned with your style, with your lifestyle, and what you actually want to wear. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, then I have a wardrobe workbook that walks you step by step step through the process. It helps you define your personal style, identify the gaps in your current wardrobe, and create a wardrobe that actually works for your everyday life, whether you're starting from scratch or just refining what you already have. It's such a helpful tool. I'll make sure to have it linked in the description box below. And this is just part 1, okay? In part 2, we're gonna dive into how to actually style everything, okay? I'll be sharing outfit formulas, layering tips, how to shop intentionally without buying stuff that you don't need. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe if you have not already, and share this video with a friend, and I will see you guys in my next one. Peace out.